Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we've got something pretty fascinating. A source outline that takes a classic film from 1989.
Dead Poets Society.
Exactly. And it pairs it with, well, pretty cutting-edge leadership training.
Yeah, it's quite the combination. We're looking at a detailed course outline from QuotaPro Leadership.
Right. And they use the film to teach their specific methodology.
That's it, the North Star Leadership Methodology, the whole course structure, all 6 modules are woven through the movie's themes. It shows how, powerful stories can really anchor complex ideas.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack this structure, module by module. We want to see how you get from, say, Carpe Diem or secret cave meetings.
Or standing on desks.
Yeah, how those moments become actual leadership concepts, actionable stuff.
And maybe we should quickly define that North Star methodology. Fundamentally, it's about helping leaders set a really clear direction. By aligning their core values with the vision they have for their organization, it's about finding that unshakable center. And the course design, it's modular, built for workshops, leadership retreats.
So each piece connects the film to a specific leadership lesson.
Precisely. Each clip, each theme, it leads directly to an activity or a tool.
Okay, let's get into it then. Section 1 seems to cover inspiration and culture. Module 1.
Module 1 is called The Call to Lead, and fittingly, it's centered entirely on Mr. Keating's first class.
The Carpe Diem scene. Seize the day.
Exactly. And the objective here is foundational. It's about shifting the view of leadership away from just instruction, tasks and checklists, towards inspiration, seeing leadership as something you embody, not just something you do.
And the North Star concept here is that leaders set the direction by living their values and vision.
That's the core. Your team needs to see it in you.
Yeah.
If you aren't embodying that North Star, why would they follow?
Makes sense. So how does the course make that concrete?
Well, they jump right into a tool, a reflective journaling activity. Okay, participants have to articulate their own personal Carpe Diem message. What's the core message they want to convey as a leader?
So it forces you to think about what you're actually signaling through your actions day to day.
Your priorities, your tone, everything. It connects internal values to external behavior.
And that focus on behavior naturally leads into culture, which is Module 2.
Right. Module 2 looks at culture as a living force. And the film reference here is the Dead Poets Society itself, the secret meetings in the cave.
The subculture forming outside the official rules of Walton Academy.
Exactly. The training objective is about understanding how these powerful subcultures emerge. Often it's because leadership, consciously or not, creates a safe space for them, or at least allows it.
So the key idea is that culture isn't just the official handbook.
Not at all. The framework is very clear. Culture is what leaders model, and crucially, what they permit. What behavior gets accepted, even if it's not written down.
That's a really powerful distinction. Culture as an active reflection of leadership.
Definitely. And the tool they use here is called the culture audit.
What does that involve?
It focuses on mapping the unwritten rules within an organization. The things everyone understands, but nobody explicitly states.
Like maybe the official rule is speak up, but the unwritten rule is don't challenge the boss in public.
Precisely that kind of thing. They use the Dead Poets' secret society rules as a parallel to help participants identify those hidden dynamics in their own workplaces.
And then what? Just identifying them?
No, they follow it up. Participants actually draft principles for their own ideal high-trust mini-society within their teams or departments.
Interesting. So Module 1 is inspiration, Carpe Diem. Module 2 is culture, the secret society.
Right.
Where does it go next?
Logically, it moves towards finding your voice and taking a stand. Section 2 covers identity and courage. Module 3 is voice, identity, and leadership presence.
And this is where the desk standing comes in.
This is exactly it. That iconic image of the students standing on their desks.
What's the leadership objective tied to that?
It's about understanding how perspective shapes your leadership presence, how you're seen, how you're experienced by your team. The desk stand is symbolic of gaining that different viewpoint.
Wait, do they actually make executives stand on furniture in a workshop?
Well, symbolically maybe. It's more about the internal shift. The core North Star concept is that your leadership identity emerges when your values, your authentic voice, and your vision all align.
Okay, so the physical act represents something internal.
Yes. The desk stand activity, as they call it, physically demonstrates the difference in what you perceive when you're down in the weeds versus when you're elevated, seeing the bigger picture.
And how do they make that practical?
There's a role-playing exercise. Participants practice delivering a message from above the desk, more strategic, visionary,
Yeah.
versus delivering it on the ground, more empathetic, connected, boots-on-the-ground style.
Ah, so contrasting those two styles immediately shows the difference. Directive versus involved leadership.
Exactly. And that tension, that contrast, leads straight into Module 4. Courage in the face of resistance. This module focuses on the confrontations. Keating and the boys versus Headmaster Nolan.
Right. Nolan representing the rigid institution, the resistance to change to authenticity.
He's the perfect foil. But the film also shows the potential cost of that courage, right? Keating gets fired, Neil's story is tragic.
Yeah, so how does the training handle that? You need courage, but you also need to navigate the system. You don't want leaders getting themselves fired unnecessarily.
That's the crux of the module. The objective is precisely that, navigating the tension between compliance, what the rules say, and courage, what your values demand.
And the North Star application.
It's that leaders drive accountability by holding firm to their core values, especially under pressure. Real accountability isn't just about hitting targets, it's about integrity when things get tough.
Easy to lead when it's smooth sailing. Much harder when you face resistance.
Absolutely. And the tools reflect that complexity. There's a case study discussion
Yeah.
about navigating those gray areas. When do you bend? When do you stand absolutely firm on principle? Where's the line between compromising on a budget detail versus compromising your integrity?
That's critical.
And they pair that with something called accountability mapping.
Which does what?
It helps leaders identify where courage needs to be aligned with clarity. Courage without a clear understanding of your values and the situation, that can just be recklessness.
But courage with clarity about your North Star.
That becomes principled, effective action.
Okay, that makes sense. That takes us through the first 4 modules. What about the last section? Impact and legacy.
Yes, section 3. And module 5 gets quite heavy emotionally. It focuses on Neil Perry's tragic storyline.
Oh, wow. How do they approach that in a leadership context?
The objective is really about internal reflection for the leaders. It's about discussing the profound risks of unexpressed identity.
Meaning?
The danger when someone feels they can't be authentic in their work environment. The risk when there's that huge, painful gap between who they are and how they have to act at work.
And connecting that back to the workplace. What's the implication for, say, talent management?
It's a direct link. The takeaway is stark. Silence often isn't agreement. It's a precursor to someone leaving.
Disengagement, then turnover.
Exactly. The North Star principle here is that retention, engagement. They aren't just HR programs. They depend fundamentally on employees feeling a sense of belonging and empowerment.
If people feel they have to hide parts of themselves to fit in,
You're losing them, even if they're still physically present. You're losing their best contribution, their commitment.
is there a specific tool for this module? It feels quite sensitive.
There is. They integrate a tool called attrition trigger mapping. It actually comes from another QuotaPro framework, retention architecture.
Attrition trigger mapping. What does that map?
It helps leaders identify those specific moments, those inflection points, that might cause an employee to mentally check out or start looking elsewhere.
Like seeing a core value violated, or their manager failing to act on something important.
Exactly those kinds of triggers. The small things that erode trust or make someone feel unsafe or unseen.
And they have a group reflection on this.
Yeah, a powerful one. Where is silence currently costing us? Talent, innovation, trust. Neil's story becomes this powerful, cautionary example of the ultimate cost when an environment prioritizes compliance over authenticity.
That's heavy stuff, but necessary, I imagine.
Very. And it sets the stage perfectly for the final module, Module 6, Legacy and the Leader's North Star.
Which ties into the ending of the film.
It centers on that final, incredibly moving scene. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
The students standing on their desks one last time. What's the objective here? Bringing it all home.
Essentially, yes. It's about defining leadership legacy. Not just as, projects completed or targets hit,
Right.
but as the cultural impact you leave behind. Legacy is measured by the success of the people you empowered, the ones you inspired.
So the North Star concept is that leaders are remembered by how they helped others thrive.
Precisely. Your legacy isn't just your work. It's the positive, enduring culture you helped build. Did you enable others to find and follow their own North Stars?
And the final tool reinforces this.
Yes. The main outcome is the legacy blueprint. Participants actually write out their personal leadership North Star statement.
Like a personal mission statement for their leadership.
Kind of, but grounded in everything they've explored, their values, their voice, the culture they commit to building. They refine this through peer coaching and make commitments on how they'll model this going forward.
So if you look back at the whole 6-module journey, maybe day 1 is modules 1 through 4, inspiration, culture, identity, courage.
That seems right. It's about building the internal foundation and finding your voice.
And day 2 might be modules 5 and 6, focusing on the impact on others, retention, and then cementing that legacy piece.
Yeah, each module is designed for about 90 minutes. So that structure fits a 2-day workshop or academy format well.
What's the overall transformation they're aiming for? Leaders walk out with.
They leave with that personal North Star statement, a clearer picture of their desired culture, maybe even an initial action plan. But more than that, the goal is for them to leave with the ability and the commitment to model their leadership identity.
With some of that same transformative energy that Keating brought to his students.
That's the aspiration, yes.
You know, stepping back, it strikes me that the reason this whole approach likely works, using a film like Dead Poets Society, is that great teaching, and maybe great leadership development too, often needs those relatable emotional anchors, like a story.
Absolutely. A narrative, especially one people already have an emotional connection to, can make complex ideas stick in a way that, say, a dry presentation just can't.
Emotion drives change more than just logic.
Often, yes. The film provides a shared language, it raises the emotional stakes, it gives you instant mental images for concepts like perspective or courage or the cost of silence.
It shortcuts the theory.
In a way, yeah, it grounds the methodology in something deeply human and memorable.
So maybe that's the thought to leave everyone with today. Thinking about your own leadership. If your recent actions, your interactions with your team, were edited into a short film clip,
Okay.
and someone had to write that objective summary, like we discussed for Module 1, would the summary read inspiration, or would it read instruction?
That's a good question.
Something to think about as you navigate by your own North Star.